Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today I'm going to show you the Nintendo Switch XL, well my version of it anyway. Now if you follow my channel you've already seen that I made one of these with a 15.5 inch TV. Well now this is a more sensible version using a 1080p 10.5 inch monitor. So as you can see it there, it looks really nice. I'm going to show you it inside in a minute without all the reflections of the sun outside. But let me just show you a bit of Super Mario Odyssey. If you have a look at it there, you can see how nice it looks. Right, let's bring this inside and show you how I've done it. Okay, we're back inside now, so you can see the Vincendo XL in all its glory. Do you like what I did there? Right, okay, so we've got the monitor screen. It's around about 10.5 inches, and it is full HD, so it's 1080p, and it's got a good wide viewing angle as well. And because we've got the switch stuck to the back of this, I'll show you the behind in a minute, it means that it's going to be output in 1080p. Obviously not all games will allow 1080p even in docked mode, so for example Zelda's going to be around 900p, but it's still a boost from handheld mode, and a lot of games will allow 1080p. For example Mario Kart 8 will be 1080p when you're doing 1 or 2 player. So with the bigger screen and the 1080p, it really does look amazing. Now I don't know if that's going to come across in the YouTube video, but when you're playing this yourself, it honestly does look much better than the Switch. Obviously it's not as portable. Switch, there's nothing wrong with it. You've got it as a portable system, and then when you want to watch it on TV, obviously you plonk it into the dock and then you're going to be watching it on the big screen. But there's something nice about having a medium-sized screen, so you can play it in either tabletop mode, like so, or if you want to play it just again in handheld mode but with a slightly bigger screen, because realistically you're not going to be using this like you've seen at the beginning of the video because it's too heavy. But when you're sat down with this resting on your lap or resting on a table, it is actually really comfortable, and I'll be honest with you, it feels just about, if not more comfortable than the Switch in portable mode, because it just sits on your lap nicely and you have a little bit of clearance here to put your hands on here, so it's pretty good. Now the weight of this is still very heavy. I've cut down the weight a lot by going for a smaller monitor, but it's still coming in at 1580 grams because the battery pack that I wanted with it, I wanted to get a serious amount of hours out of it. Now it's kind of too early to fully know how long it lasts, but I used it for an hour and a half last night when there was only 20, I think it was 2 or 3% on the battery, and it was still working. It was down to about 2 or 3% by the time I finished. Realistically, I think you're going to be getting about 4 hours use out of it depending on the game. But last night I was playing Wonder Boy and also Super Mario Odyssey, and it was working just fine. So let me show you around the back and show you how to do this. Right, so let's spin it around so you can see the back of it, and this is where it does let itself down because of the bulkiness, but it does actually work well. You can see I've got a little stand here that you can put out if you do want to play it in tabletop mode. So what we have is we have the Switch at the very back here. Now it is very much enclosed by things, but there's not going to be any worry about it overheating because it is actually sat on Velcro pads, so there is a bit of clearance there behind it. This case does have the cutouts for the air intake. Also, this monitor is designed to fit on camera stands, so I've taken the little adapter off it, and what it does is it allows a channel up here for the air to be drawn in to the back of the Switch, so I don't think there's going to be a problem with it overheating. Also the top here, you can see we've got the exhaust fan here, just here, so if you're worried you could always tuck that little flap in there like so. Right, okay, so we have the Switch at the back there, then we have this power bank here. Now this is a very powerful power bank. This is around about 75 watt hours, so you're going to get a long amount of use out of the monitor and the Switch. This is actually powering the Switch dock and also the monitor as well. Now this battery bank outputs 12 volts as well as 5 volts. So the 5 volts is powering the Switch dock and the 12 volts is powering the monitor here. And then on top of that we have a little Switch dock. Now the good thing about this one, it's made by Fast Snail. Now obviously this is all done at your own risk. This has been known to brick a few people's Switches after the 5.0.0 update. I'm still yet to find proper links to find out what actually causes the bricking. I'm using this, my Switch is updated to 5.0.0 and it's still working fine. I've been using this for quite a while since the update and I personally haven't had any problems, but a lot of people are having problems. So obviously if you do this to your Switch, you do it at your own risk. None of this is designed for the Switch. Nintendo don't ask you to do this. This is modding it to suit yourself. Right, okay, good thing about this is it allows the Switch dock to work on 5 volts. So we've only got 5 volts going into it, but yeah, as you can see, the switch is docked. So that's the good thing about it there. And then all I've done is the monitor came with this little stand here. So I thought I'd put the stand on the back, because then all we've got to do if we want it in tabletop mode is just pop it out like so, and then we can put it down, and then we can just pop our Joy-Cons off, and then we can play it in tabletop mode. Right, and now to get the rails on the side, all I've done is I've used the little metal rails that come with the Joy-Con grip, and then I've just, not super glued, but I've used that 2-in-1, you know, where you mix the 2 parts together. I think it's called epoxy glue, and it really has set very strong. And just to make it look nicer, I've put a little black bit of plastic strip, just so you can't see the metal when the Joy-Con's on. It just makes a slightly nicer finish, and all I've used there is a little bit of cable tie. So I've just cut a little bit of cable tie, super glued that bit on, and you can see then it kind of finishes it off nicely when you put the Joy-Cons back on. Right, okay, so touchscreen obviously doesn't work because it's in docked mode, so it's the same as it being on your TV, so it's not going to work in docked mode. Now let's say if you want it to change the game, well, that's not a problem, because all you've got to do is you've got a flap up here, and then you can just take your cartridge out as such. Now obviously mostly you're going to be using your Nintendo Switch as a portable system, so you want to get your Nintendo Switch out of here. It is actually very easy to do. All we have to do is pop out the USB-C dock at the bottom here, and then we just need to undo these 2 cable ties here, and you can see the whole thing just lifts up like so, and then we can just pop our switch out of it, and then we will have our switch working as normal in portable mode there. And then we'll decide we do want it on here. So for example, you don't want it on TV mode, you want it on here because you want to play it up in your bedroom and you haven't got a TV in your bedroom and you want something bigger than this here, and also you want it in full HD. Then all we have to do is pop this back on here like so, like that, close the lid, feed these through here, because the magnet bit at the top is not strong enough on this switch case here to hold the weight of the battery and the dock. So what these are just reusable cable ties. So they've got a little latch on them here that you can just press in when you want to release them, like so. And that does hold everything nicely in place. And then if you have a look, we see we're not docked at the moment, and as soon as I plug that back in there, you will see now it will become docked. There we go. So obviously another good thing about this would be tabletop mode. So for example, let me just show you a quick bit of Mario Kart. And as you can hear by the volume, it goes really loud, which is nice as well, because you can have a good variation then when it comes to the volume on it. Let me lower it down. So now we're only at 25 out of 100 and it's still loud enough to use. So this will be player 1 and this will be player 2, and now you have a decent screen to look at when you're doing your 2-player split screen. Now the problem is, because we've got so much stuff surrounding the Switch at the back, you really are limited to the distance you can use this. So normally I can use this, you know, a good maybe 7 or 8 meters away before it starts dropping out. Well, with this now, you're only going to get a few meters before you start going to have problems with it dropping out. Right, let me just take that off auto. Obviously it does work in handheld mode like this if you did want to do motion controls, because the Joy-Cons are the bit that does the motion controls. So you can see this is the one on the left. And this is the one on the right. Right, so that's another good thing about it. When it comes to tabletop mode, you have a little bit more screen to look at. So I'm well aware that it's nowhere near as portable as the Switch, because I think the Switch on its own is only around, I think it's about 300 or 400 grams, and obviously this is over 1500 grams. But when it's rested on your lap, you don't feel that weight at all, and it is very comfortable. So I'm just going to show you a bit of play now, how you would actually play it. So here we have Super Mario Odyssey, and as you can see, it just looks absolutely amazing. Right, let's show you some other games. Let's go to Wonder Boy. So here we have Wonder Boy, and as you can see, because it's resting on my leg, there's no actual weight on my hands at all. So it is actually really comfortable when you're playing it. Right, I'll show you a bit of Mantis Burn Racing. And the good thing about this one is when you do it in tabletop mode, it doesn't split the screen in a vertical way, it's still side by side, because remember, it thinks it's attached to a TV. Right, and let's end on Zelda. There you go, you can see how nice that looks. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you the list of parts needed to make this. I got them all from Amazon and then one off the leads from eBay. Altogether it came to £200. Before I show you the parts used, I just want to show you how much watts is being used. So if you have a look here, it will vary between 10 and 16 watts when we're on the home screen. So right now we're just on the home screen on the Nintendo Switch, but this battery will allow, I think it's 75 watt hours. So you can see that you're going to get quite a bit of usage out of it. Obviously when you're playing a game like Zelda, this is going to go up, but you're still going to get a lot of usage out of this battery pack. Right, so I'll show you on this little laptop here, but basically the screen, £86.99, this is all UK pounds. The battery was £64.90. I did get a more expensive battery because I wanted it to be powerful. You will be able to get that cheaper, and you will be able to get it smaller and lighter as well. The little Nintendo Switch case was only £3.99. USB cable that goes from the dock, see this white cable here, to the battery pack, that was £2.99. The little HDMI cable was £8.99 for two, so I got a left-handed one and a right-handed one. Can you see this is a right-angled one, and that goes up into here. Now the reason I went with this particular monitor was A, because it's cheap, it was only £86.99, but as well as that, can you see it's got the cutout here, so it hides all the cables away, because a lot of the monitors have the USBs and the HDMIs and stuff down the side, and they're going to get in the way of the Joy-Con. And not only that, I don't want a big cable sticking out here, so at least when you look at this from the front, it does look pretty good. I know from the back it does not look good, but it does actually work. And remember, this is just me making mock-ups, kind of like a proof of concept, a little bit more than a proof of concept, but you know, you would be able to get this better yourself. Again, there's going to be a lot of wasted space in here. I forgot to mention that the monitor does have built-in speakers. They are slightly covered, but there's still plenty of volume here to be able to hear anything. Right, we've got the dock itself. This little portable dock was £27.99. The power lead, that's this little cable that goes between here and here, was £2.99. And then I've put the Velcro and the straps down as £5 because I just had them around the house. I don't know the price of them, but you just need some cable ties that are releasable, the releasable cable ties, and you need Velcro so you can stick them on here. I've used double-sided tape to actually stick the battery power bank on to the Switch case here. So altogether it came to £203.84p, so around about $285. The weight of it is 1,580 grams, or just under £3 and 8 ounces. Now let me just show you them on actual Amazon here in case you're interested. So this is the monitor here. Now you will be able to get better quality ones. I know this is just straight out of China, but you know what? It works well, and the screen, honestly, it looks good. Here we have the battery bank that I'm using. I like it because you can do 2 outlets, one for the 12 volt DC and also one for the USB at the same time. And that's the name of it there if you're interested. This is a case for the Nintendo Switch, so the Switch actually just clips into this case, and that's the name of it there. This is a USB cable that I use that feeds the power from the power bank to the portable dock. And that's the price and the title of it. These are the HDMI cables that I'm using. You can see that there's a left angle and a right angle one. Here we have the portable dock that I'm using. I believe in America it's called Fast Snail. That's the title of it there, and the price $27.99. Obviously you use these at your own risk. These are not Nintendo products. They're not licensed by Nintendo. They're third-party products. So if something goes wrong with your Switch, then it's completely down to you. I've done this for £200 as this kind of mock-up myself, but imagine if a proper company did this and mass-produced it. They'd be able to get the price down to around £100, so you could have your 1080p monitor around about this size with a nice slot on the back that you just slot your Nintendo Switch into. You've already got the dock built into the workings of the monitor, and you've got the monitor powered by the battery all built in as well. So there's going to be a lot of empty wasted space in here. So if you've got a flat battery, it doesn't even have to last for 4 hours, even if it was just to last 2 hours. I think if you could get this made for around £100 with a 1080p screen, I think that would sell really well. So there we go, tell me what you think. Do you think it's a good idea, or do you still think it's a ridiculous idea? With my previous video, when I did this one originally, a lot of people liked it, but then again a lot of people hated it. They said it was ridiculous. Now, I still do like my Frankenstein monster, because it's my little baby, the 15.5-inch TV, but I have listened to criticism and I have reduced it down to 10.5 inches, and yeah, I do agree, it does make more sense to be this size. Now, there's nothing wrong with the Switch as it is. The Switch works well in handheld mode, tabletop mode and TV mode, but there's something nice about playing this when you're in the house. Would you play this on the train? Probably not, because it does look a bit dodgy. I think some people might be phoning the police thinking that you know, you might be a bit of a terrorist. But around the house it's absolutely fine, and I don't know why it looks so good. I don't know whether it's the bigger screen or whether it's the 1080p, but honestly I would prefer to play this like this rather than the Switch on its own. And I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe it's just to do with the size, but it is comfortable the way it sits on your lap, because then all the weight's on your lap and you can just use your hands here, while normally when you play it in portable mode, your weight's taking most of the weight off the Switch. I know it's not heavy, it's only a few hundred grams, but still it's kind of nice just to plonk this down and play it like that. So please add to the comments what you think about it, whether you still think it's a ridiculous idea or whether you think now it's getting better because it's getting smaller. Right, please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and please subscribe for more how-to videos. Take care, bye now.